Hey there, everybody. So I'm here to talk about just caching, any sort of information in your applications, specifically web apps, and what that really means as far as serialization and deserialization to and from the cache all the time. So primarily what I'm interested in showing off here is checking whether or not the cache has actually been modified before deserializing. Now this gives you the option of basically storing all of your information within your web app and then expiring it on your own terms. And this is very useful in like Python 3.3, where you actually have like a least recently used cache. There's also memoization libraries that can help out with this. That way you can really make sure that what you're keeping in memory in your app actually expires as well. But the primary thing that you're focused on is making sure you're not constantly deserializing the same session over and over and over again. And this is super important in situations where you have thousands of connections happening on one server at any given time, which is why I use tools like Tornado and like Node. So the biggest thing, real quick, let's just find out how we can actually test to see if something's actually changed. And a lot of this comes from creating your own intermediate layer, or using tools like WebDis. Now, WebDis is very simply a REST interface to Redis, but what it's going to tell you right off the bat is the ETag for whatever it's returning. So what we can do in turn is actually check to see, hey, has this been modified since blah blah blah, or is this the same as, or at least give me a 304, something like that, and tell me that it hasn't been modified if I tell you what my last ETag was. So let me show you how to do that. First off, install WebDis. It's on the web page. It's very simple to do. And then second off, make sure you have the Redis CLI. So we're going to set hi there to howdy. Alright, we've done it. It's done. Let's actually check it out. So I turned on a few headers here. Curl is actually very useful. I usually use wget for a lot of things, but I've been using curl more and more. Yay me. Alright, so I've also been passing this off to JQ, which is a wonderful tool. That's how I get this highlighted text. Whoop. Hey, get back there. Alright. So, simple enough, it's telling me the ETag right off the bat. It's not changing at all. So let's set hi there to aloha, which, okay, sure, I understand. That ETag went ahead and changed. Previously, we're looking at something that started with C4, now we're looking at 3F. Alright, so how do we check to see if that's changed or not? Well, let me check my scroll back log. As you can see, I was doing a little bit of testing beforehand, but don't let that concern you. So what we're going to do is if none match, and then we're going to give it the ETag. And this is a very standard header. This is how Squid works. This is how browsers work with ETags. This is how it works. So what you'd want to do in your application is store all of your information alongside this ETag with the quotes, just to actually go out to WebDis and say, hey, has this changed yet? Yes, no, maybe. What we get back is, ta-da, 304, not modified, which is wonderful. If we give it a bunk one, it's going to give us back what we were requesting. Here. Whoop. Ta-da. Alright, so isn't that wonderful? That's how we can actually have like sessions that have a meg or so of information, or a ton. Well, they can be really huge. The maximum size for Redis objects is pretty high up there. So a lot of this situation can actually apply to if you were doing MySQL based sessions. You could actually store a timestamp alongside them. Same with MongoDB, Postgres, all that stuff. It's all good. So just remember to store timestamps or store hashes along with your information, and then you can actually pull information out of the databases and then say, hey, is this the same? Yes, no, maybe. What this gives you is still a very atomic caching solution, but it allows you to know whether or not something changed if you store things properly. Web disk is just an intermediate. You can actually store a lot of this stuff in a situation where you're storing the primary key. So let me show you this. Is something very similar to this, so that way when you're looking for that information, whether or not it's expired, you're actually pulling it, and then you actually have a another key which points to that as well. Or you can make it very simple and just that way when I fetch hi there again, I know that I'm supposed to look for this. And there it is. The deserialization of a hash is basically a string comparison. So I highly recommend, if you're writing a cache layer, anything else like that, that you adopt this method. That way you can give the user the opportunity to store information locally and not have to continually deserialize it. There are some tools for Node and for Tornado that allow you to expire data using callbacks, which is probably a darn good idea. That way you can make sure that that memory resident stuffs goes away. Anyways, that's all I have. I just wanted to show off something neat. This really is important when you have thousands of connections and people continually hammering your server looking for information.